How's everybody doing tonight? Ooh, shout out to the GRC Mafia family. Just left them. Working on some work, working on some courses. BBL got too much going on, but we're going to make it work. Shout out to my man Before the Billions doing big things down there in the ATL. Shout out to Security Expert. Give me one in the chat if you can hear me. Being Tech, good evening. Ooh, it's night, but I'm barely making. Jim R, glad you can join me. I know you're a busy guy. Got my first interview since I've been in tech in 2 weeks for my security and shit breaks, but I'm nervous. Let me know. Good luck. If you want to jump on a LinkedIn chat or something, just let me know, fair and pairing. I'm sure you're ready, but if you want to ask me a question or something, we can chop it up. Or I wish you good luck, man. It's hard out here. It's hard out here. Jupiter, Demond, to the good people. Shout out to my man, Chris Whitlock. Shout out to my man, Ty. Get the one. Okay, everybody can hear me. Chris, are you doing a resume review this week? Uh, let me go do this real quick. You know how we do it. If you got anything cybersecurity or tech, just drop them in the chat. Let me go over to LinkedIn real quick and dox myself real quick. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see. Events. AWS Config. That should be tonight. Make sure I ain't burning my CPU up or nothing. Okay, let's get back to it. Okay. Shout out to my man Chris, the pain. Let's see. For sure, that's me on LinkedIn. So if you want to reach out to me, we just do a quick chat on LinkedIn. Let's see. Well, everything's cybersecurity. Oh, upskilling on a budget. Yep, I saw that. Is that Thursday night, Chris? Let's get started. Ooh, I'm running out of gas. I got some more coursework to do, but we're gonna make it work. Guess too much work is better than no work. So let's go. We're gonna talk a little bit about AWS Config. We talked about AWS Security Hub last week, and we had AWS Config flowing up into Security Hub. Let's just focus on AWS Config and a few things about it, and a few automation tips going to the next level with it. Let's see what my man Jim R said. I'm officially too old, too tired to learn anything new. Nah, I'm fit. I'm with you, man. I'm just kind of living on my NIST 800-53 I've been doing for 15 years. I'm with you. I've been trying to get on my AWS. I passed my AWS SysOp associate certification. So just trying to keep grinding a little better on AWS. Shout out to the GRC family. We've been studying CISP. I need to pass my CISP. I need to pass the CISP. Here it is right there. Farron, you see me right there on the screen, John Hightower. I'm the one with the. You see me out there. I'm chunky, squeezed in a suit with a flip phone. I need to update that. So you see me right there, Farron Perry. That's me. Once again, if y'all got any questions, I probably dropped the link a little earlier today. Whew, I think I stayed outside too long. I got a little nippy. It's talking to my neighbor. I'm like freezing. Let me know if you got it, Farron Perry. But that's me, John Hightower, doxing myself. Come check me out. What's up? So let's go ahead and get it. So this is a standard architecture on-prem or in AWS, standard 3-tier, web tier, app tier, and database. So when we have our AWS looking for this 800-53 findings, I have a web tier, app tier configuration on AWS. I have one AZ, which is one data center. PBO is trying to cheat, but I'm probably going to spin it up into 2 data centers so I can get failover right there. And I'll probably go ahead and get on, not Aurora, because that's it. I'll get it on that Postgres database. That's pretty cheap. Create something small, hopefully on the free tier. So that's what we're doing. We're scanning that. So I just pulled this from the website. AWS Config records detailed changes on resources you provide within configuration history. You could do management console, API, CLI. The big part is AWS Config will also automate delivery of configuration history to S3 bucket. We looked at that last week. You can do the AWS Config recorder to deliver configurations at 2 different frequencies, changing scopes on what you want to recess. And 2, you can do the agents and you can load them on your servers on-prem, do software as a service, version control, and recordings for third party, right? We're going to talk about for Conmon, more for continuous monitoring, right? So that's kind of what we're going to dig into tonight. AWS Config discovers, maps, and track AWS your resource relationships in your account. For example, if a new EC2 security group is associated with the EC2, AWS Config records the updated configuration on both the EC2 group and the EC2 instance, right? So a lot of times it's developers aren't doing configuration management right in production, or they're out there sliding stuff in production. AWS Config will find that, right? And you can flag that. Because per NIST or IRS, you have to go to a control board. It has to get voted on. Theoretically, you have to get funding. You put it in a configuration, and that gets put in production, right? So I should have a configuration in AWS Config. I can spin it and map it into production. Anything that's not in that config that comes up in production probably has not been approved. And we're going to need to visit some people because they're breaking the process, all right? So that's part of it. AWS, we'll look at this, provides with pre-built rules. And once again, we're going to look at the NIST as well as software within a managed instance, EC2s, resources outside, AWS, like running servers, once again, on-prem, before and after provisioning, like we talked about. We can compare before and after we provision it, once again, to make sure it was approved, make sure we got tickets for it. At AWS landed that define your internal best practices and guidelines for your resource configurations. Using AWS Config, you can assess your resource configuration changes for compliance against the built-in or custom rules. Know some of the compliance that are in AWS. Of course, we're going to do NIST. I don't know why I didn't put NIST on the slide, but it has ISO that's becoming popular. Shout out to B-Dubs with the PCI, and of course HIPAA for high tech and high trust. So once again, they have a ton of them out there. They have CMC, different levels of PCI. My favorite is NIST 800-53R5. So they have a ton of it. And 2, if you look at it, you see the AWS Config custom rules. We can invoke a Lambda, which is just a piece of code. It could be Java or a Python, usually Python. So if some of those rules, and we looked at that last week, if there's a rule like a security group default was open up to the internet, we can send an email with the SNS topic email to the admin team or the security team. And we can also write that into a database to keep track of it, right? So the 2 is if we put in a database, we can actually have the database triggering a custom rule, right, to actually go remediate that particular finding if we wanted to do that. So if we're some security groups open to the world, we can actually have right into the RDS instance, have that invoke a custom rule to actually delete that. All right. If that's such a, for us, that would be such a big finding because it's open up to the world. All your hackers and nation states can scan it and see it. Right. So unless if we didn't have that particular requirement, excuse me, and if it was all internal, somebody opened up IP4000 to the world, right? We want to block that out. So if we open up something to the internet, we want to open up to a specific IP address or at least a range of IP addresses, right? So just cut that down, and all that's in AWS Config, and we'll log into the console and actually look at it, which I forgot to do before we started. Once again, this is short. Let me drop the link. Get it done. I appreciate it. Try. Just I appreciate you. Let me drop the link if anybody want to come up. I am running out of gas. I got to get it going. Oh, that's cool. If you don't mind, what RDS are you? Because I got Oracle, Postgres, MySQL. If you don't want to tell before the billions, you do not have to tell. Yeah, I'm just gonna start working on some RDS. I want to do Oracle because I got a background, but of course that's the most expensive one on Amazon. So I probably do Postgres, which is kind of a knockoff on that. Oh, what's up, Jupiter?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep. I can hear you. No feedback. You sound crystal clear.
Yeah, it's just yeah. Before you proceed on, man, this startup company, man, is like, dude, it's you learn a lot, but it's frustrating, bro. It is like dealing with Azure Cloud, and it's like you when you come from, and I'll land my plane with this. When you come from I wouldn't say a organized company from a defense company like
Oh
Raytheon,
yeah.
and coming down to you're building a country from scratch, and it's like a lot of the stuff you have to do your due diligence and research and wear many hats. Like I'm doing system admin roles now that I'm like is I'm in information security. I'm like, dude, I'm like I could do it, but you have to research it. Yeah, set up accounts because a lot of stuff you forget because it's not been your practices for a while. So it's
Oh,
like, man, and then now I am playing with this with Nessus,
okay.
bro. I'm setting up policies. It's like
Uh,
you are building from scratch, dude. It is like you have to do the research.
oh yeah, I've been there before, and it's weird. Like you said, when I left DoD and I went to some smaller companies. One company I work for now was good, but I went to some smaller companies. I'm like, it's just stuff I was ingrained. I'm like, we don't got that. I'm like, what you mean we don't have a control board? It's just some stuff I just was so used to doing.
Yeah, and it's like I had to sit down with my manager because I didn't want to make it seem like he's like, "Are you nervous?" It's like, "No, well, yeah, I'm nervous because I've only been there a few weeks." It's like, dude, it's like it's the four of us, so it's like I'm the only Izzo, and it's like, bro, like, I need like for Azure, I'm learning, and me and him had to understand it. I need to know how the house is built before I can secure it, and I need to know how you work y'all magic in the house before I start doing this, and that. Because we haven't even done the controls. It's just I'm
Right.
just building policies from scratch, and it's just like, okay, well, I just got to be patient with this one and ask questions.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm building a course, and the thing I did, I think people like is I got a lot of policies and procedures. I got a template for SSP, a template for business impact analysis, because a lot of people don't have those templates, right? So
Yeah.
I pull them down from the government site. So as I talk about something, all those plans, because I think this got 10 plans. I got the template for the plans out there, so you can just pick them up, kind of make them work for your company because they're for the feds, so they're big. So you just gotta trim them down and use them. So
Yeah, and hold on, I'm gonna send you a message. I'm letting you on LinkedIn. So shoot, hold up, and we can talk offline after this.
okay,
But hold up, I'm just typing it in. So just let me know if you got it.
okay, let me go on. Yep, I heard it when it hit. I can't. I still got my headsets. Just yep. I don't want to doubt you. I see you.
Yeah, and how about this? Just for 2 minutes, I'm just gonna show you the company I work for. Hold on, give me a second. I'm gonna give you a snippet real quick. Give me a second.
Okay.
Yeah, just
So let's
yeah.
keep rolling while we're doing that in the background. Then once again, AWS config. Oh shoot. You see the configuration right there. You can put the checks in the bucket. We'll look in the bucket shortly. I'll log on to the console. Once again, the cloud watch is the logging trigger. Once again, is a code. It could be Python, Java. Then once again, SNS. We can send a email if something looks funny, or we can send it to the bucket and actually remediate that particular finding. So that's the cool thing about AWS config. The cool thing is what I'm trying to do the next level is this is what AWS recommends as the architecture for setting up a small company. These are the actual users you need to have in. A user inside AWS is it's a user, but you could use it to actually put configuration items like we talked about. So your shared service would be a lot of times your networking and your other shared service, where you got a network account, development account, test account. Production will have your production items in there, and they will be owned by the particular production users. Then, from a security perspective, if I want to just scan production accounts, I would just scan that user, and it would own all the production items. So that's one of the things I have to get used to setting up. They call it well architected security program, and that begins with once again your users who own stuff. At the top, you see security tooling account. Once again, product account, test account, dev account, network account, chef services account, network test account because you network, you want to break anything, and shared services test account. Well, sometimes your IAM stuff will be in your shared account because you set up users across your whole um, region, which controlled by these users. And once again, delegated administrator for them security, Amazon Macy inspector. We were talking about Security Hub last week and guard duty. All of those services will be run in your security tooling, and you would point it to which one of those users account do you want it to scan. To be honest, we probably want to at least scan everything once a month and probably prod at least once a week, right? To make sure we set up and doing what we're supposed to be doing. Once again, put any questions in the chat. Let's see. Let me check the chat. What's up, NC Worker? What's up, Chaos Rain? So let's keep rolling. Like I said, I think it's gonna be short because a lot of this AWS config we hit a lot of it in Security Hub because that's what we were feeding from the compliance checks. But let's keep rolling. Once again, we got the Security Hub flowing in. The Security Hub, once again, was getting it from AWS Config, FrenchBridge, once again, DynamoDB with the Lambda, taking your security findings. Once again, storing those security findings in Hub. Then once again, matching those up and actually remediating some of those. Let's see, somebody hit me in the... What's up, Jim R? Glad you can join me. Jim R, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. What's up, my man? Ricky doesn't know. I appreciate you, Ricky. Give me a like. I can't hear you, Jim R. I don't know if it's me or you. So once again, AWS config, flowing in the Security Hub, going to Event Bridge, and we'll look at that. We looked at that last week. But once again, Security Hub is calling AWS config from the compliance, and we'll look at the NIST 800-53 findings I have out there. So we'll make that happen. And you see some of the checks right here. CIS benchmarks, AWS Foundation. My favorite one, NIST 800-53R5, and PCIDS. Once again, it has a ton of. I think it was 100,000. You get a tenth of a penny per check. I think on my small site, I think I got like 400 checks. Yeah, that slide cut off for some reason, but we're gonna keep rolling. And coming from, once again, Security Hub, getting those findings from AWS Config. So you can looking at accounts, finding severities, finding by resource types, some of the graphs you can look at. And once again, we're GRC, so these are the things we will be looking at. Number of findings by time. Hopefully that time is going down. That's what you want to see. Here, let me log into the hub real quick. Once again, put anything in there. Once again, I thought it would be short because once again, we hit Security Hub with AWS Config. So let's log in to, let me make sure what I'm showing. So we're gonna log into the console real quick. Let's see, I'm gonna close this so I'll make sure I don't dox my man. So close my LinkedIn. So let's share the console real quick. I appreciate it. There it is. Let's check that. Then we're gonna do a few things. So that's the console. Let's see. Maybe I need to make that. So if you look on there, if you look at the compliance status, we have 63 non-compliant rules. On the rules and the resources, we have 23 non-compliant resources. Of course, we're doing better. We have 100 and plus compliant resources and 54. So let's dig into and look at the conformance pack we're using. In the conformance pack, my favorite one, you see it right there. Let's go ahead and make that a little bigger. 125. So we 86% compliant in our PBO NIST 100-53R5. So once again, a conformance pack is security compliance. We were talking about that as part of the, I think we were talking about the orange books and the OPAS. What does that translate to? A lot of times, hardening from different compliances. And once again, we're doing a NIST 800-53. Those are the compliances for federal systems. So once again, you see it right there, 86% compliance. So once again, continuous monitoring. We would monitor at least once a week or even once a month. Then that'll tell us if we're staying or if people putting in resources or services and we're going down to like 85 or 83 or 80, right? So this lets you once again continuously monitor where your architecture is at from a once again architecture standpoint. So let's kind of dig into that compliance check. See, that's the score. It's deployed. Here's some of the findings down there.
Yeah, you got an email. I'm sorry to stop you, bro.
Oh, you good?
Yeah, could you just type it in the private chat and then I'll just send you an email link.
Okay.
I try to send you a chat on LinkedIn, but it's making me do some type of authentication with some. I'm like, what the heck?
Okay. Let me get over there real quick. So yeah, we're looking at some of the findings there. Then once again, you would bring up all your criticals and just kind of go through it from there. Once again, for continuous monitoring, we just gonna touch on a little bit.
Yeah, I sent you my email. All right.
Okay, that's mine. So yeah, so that's how you do it. Until when it comes out, it gives you. Let's go on one. It gives you a rating. So let's drill down into one real quick. Just make sure you can see that. Oh, that's the wrong thing. I got too much going on. So there it is. So if you look at it, it's detective. It tells you how to fix it. Other config. If you look at the description, check to see if the S3 bucket has policies that require you to use SSL TLS. This rule is non-compliant. Detective, it tells you when it was scanned. Gives you the ARN for the rule. So let's scroll down. So that's how you would look at the rule. Then a lot of times rules are put together. So those two buckets are non-compliant for that SSL configuration. Once again, here it is. So from a GRC standpoint, I would get all the non-compliant rules. Shout out to my man Before the Billions. He's out there. He's a data engineer. So some of that might fall to him if it's data engineering. How did I switch over to that? Oh, it must be doing my whole window. So that might help. Get back. So yeah. So that's kind of it. Once again, looking at AWS config, looking at the findings, looking at some so we'll look at some quick automation I have set up to fix something. Once again, if you have any questions, just put them in the chat. We so kind of labbing a little bit at a high level, just looking at the console and seeing what's going on.
Hello, guy. I sent you an email, so when it's later on, just circle back to it.
Okay, that's cool. We'll make that happen. So if you go to the rules and event bridge, we set up a security hub finding email there. So let's see if we're on screen. Yep. Let me make that a little bigger. So we're just gonna look at one of the rules and go ahead and shut it down because I am tired. So it just says we were in AWS Security Hub. If Security Hub findings, which we were looking at, imported, which basically means it's a new finding. If you see EC 2.2, that's a specific finding. It says target the event bridge SNS, which basically is just send it an email. We're not monitoring it at all. So the target is, once again, if you see this specific finding, which is an EC 2.2, which basically is a security group that has default opening up to the whole internet. If you see that particular finding, target send PBO topic SNS an email. So that's basically what that is. So let's see. Let's go actually look at that particular SNS topic. So let's go to the SNS topic. And I think we're going to shut it on down. PBO barely making it. SNS, which is simple notification, pub and sub. So when I publish it, the sub is the email. So let's look at it real quick. Topics. So we saw PBO topic. We saw when we saw the event bridge, AWS hub, security hub, finding EC2, send it to the topic. And the topic here confirmed is PBO's email, professorblackOps@gmail.com. I need to go check that to see if anybody's looking for me. I've been tired. I've been checking my email appropriately. So that's it. I stay online. So that's how you would send an email or remediate something. Once again, we looked at the event bridge. We can call the Lambda function or a topic. Then that topic, we can send an email. Or we could go say, hey, that security group's open to the world. Just delete it, right? So we had a Lambda function that's in Python that would actually delete that security group because that's too big of a security risk. So we wouldn't even tell them. We would just delete it. We would delete it and send us a message that we could send them. And a lot of times too, when specific services are set up, there's a tag on who owns it or what development group or person or division owns that particular service. So we would send them an email to that group telling them that we deleted it, right? They were out of security compliance, so we would actually whack it. So GMR, I don't know if you hanging out. I can't hear you if you're talking, GMR.
Hey, can you hear me now?
I can. You crystal clear, buddy.
Oh, sorry. I had like Teams and Zoom open somewhere in a window in the background, and Zoom always likes to piss on
Yeah.
my parade. So,
No,
yeah,
I'm with you.
yeah.
You got anything to chime in? So I was just kind of finishing up, to be honest. I am running out of gas.
No, I'm like you. It's no, I enjoy these. It's funny, in the beginning I said, I'm tired of learning. I can't learn anymore, and been doing this for a long time, like you. And it's like, it's supposed to get easier, and it's like every time I'm retooling and learning something new, and it's like, there's things I do, but it's like I don't necessarily do a tech dive into it. Now I'm doing like Okta administration and all
Oh
this
wow.
stuff, and yeah, and even like AWS, it's like I dealt with it a lot more before, but then it's like I'm the compliance checklist guy, and now I'm having to
Mm.
dive into it, or in your Azure environment. And yes, I appreciate these, I really do. I'm just here, enjoying all your hard work.
I
And it makes,
appreciate it.
yes, I do appreciate that. Trust me, very much so. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Oh,
And to
I
circle
appreciate
back with Jim, I'm like, yeah, when you've been doing compliance, especially just your previous role, yeah, you're supposed to know the technical side, but when you've been doing nothing but when everything is structured and already SOPs and net formalities and frameworks are established, when you're doing just compliance, now, like I said, I'm stepping in now. I need to, okay, stepping and doing system administrative role where I'm creating policies and nesses, doing doing credential scanning and stuff because all that stuff was just there. It's just hey, you just go in my previous role, you just okay, all you got to do is enter your IPs, do the scans, here you there, know what to look for, make your now I'm making he's like I said, you're starting from scratch. And it's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
with I
it's
can't. I can't.
go ahead.
I can't remember if it was you. You're saying you're from a well-structured organization, like a
Yeah, it was
Raytheon or DO. Yeah, and me too. And then it's switching over on the commercial side after many many years and moving out here to Dallas. You work with some of these mid-tier
yeah,
organizations, and it's like you got to do everything, and it's just a disaster. And where I was
it
running,
is.
yeah, you're running engineering and operations and stuff, and then it's like, okay, you're taking a hands off, but you're not
But
too. Sometimes you deal it, and you're having to do all the compliance issues, but then do a technical deep dive, and it's a lot.
And another thing too is just I'm utilizing Chat GPT to the finest, but the thing is like and like I said, I was telling my manager, it's like, look, I'm learning. It's like, look, when you come from you, you may think it's simple task, but you don't understand the simple task is very congruent when the simple task of the frameworks have already been established. When I'm doing tasks where I'm creating and doing
Mhm.
research, it may not be simple because I'm wearing many different hats. I'm doing system administration where I'm creating user accounts, like going through the command. And yes,
Yep.
it's kind of helpful that I done hack the box labs and try hack me. But now
Hmm.
when you're putting it in a practice, and now because like I said, you have to take a lot of notes. Like, look, this stuff is not coming overnight. Like, look, you're building a country or a company from scratch, so
Yep.
it's going to take a while. So if I have questions, I'm going to ask. And yes, it's going to seem nervous, but I have to know, like fill in the information cap. And I'll land my plane with this: I have the mission. I just need help on how to execute it and just filling out these gaps right here and there because I'm going to be wearing different hats. So
Hmm.
there, yeah, that's why.
No, that's true. But yeah, like yeah, I'm so used to working at well-defined companies, so that makes it a little easier. So that's one thing when I was putting this course together, just make sure I have a ton of templates, a ton of policies and procedures. So if people don't have them, they can use those and kind of put it together to kind of give them something to start on and stand on from a NIST 800-53 standpoint. I was surprised. I think I got 30 templates in there already. I was like, oh my God. So, but yeah, like you said, when you work for big companies, you just take that stuff for granted. So I said, I thought about creating my own cyber but I feel it wouldn't I feel it wouldn't be wouldn't it be a saturation? No, it's never a saturation, man. It depends on what you're trying to do. If you go to Upworks, man, there's a ton of solo guys out there. I used to bid on work because there's smaller companies that want smaller stuff and they want specialized stuff. So if you kind of got a specialized skill or something you focusing on, um, you can get out there because I think Alpha Cyber's out there kind of doing his own thing for a minute. So from a red team perspective, shout out to Hill. My bad. I'm running out of gas. I think I'm about to shut it down. I'm starting to feel bad. I think I was outside and catching a cold or something.
Hey, go ahead, shut it down and go take you a rest, man.
Yeah, I was gonna try to do a little work, but I don't think I'm gonna make it. But yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna give you the last.
Yeah, I'll drop off. All right, man. Good night.
Yep.
Have a good night.
You're right.
Yeah, it's the first PBO. You're usually outlast everyone out here. You
Oh,
say
yeah.
I'm tired, but you keep going like the Energizer Bunny.
I usually do. If something kind of hit me a little bit, I just need probably a little rest. I was outside talking to my neighbor. I think I got chilled, and now I feel like I'm catching a little cold or something. Probably take me a little NyQuil and go to bed. But I want to thank everybody for joining this short one, and reach out to me, professorbackops@gmail.com. I need to check that email. It's been a minute. So once again, I appreciate everybody for joining me. For me, 41 is a short video. I try to do an hour, but PBO is not going to make it today. Once again, I want to appreciate everybody for joining me. I'm out. Everybody have a great hump day tomorrow.